I click what?
Okay, American Fork High School. I'll show you in a minute. Couple things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. The quizzes that we are going to start doing, okay, will be more like what I've done in class, okay, where I'll say define this term and you need to provide the definition. One of the main reasons I'm going to do that, I want to check to see if you're watching the videos rather than just looking up the definition on Google. On the auto insurance quiz, there are 3 definitions that I'm going to ask you for. I'm going to give you those definitions again if you don't have them from previous lectures. You should have them. If you don't, here are those 3 definitions again, and then we'll go through and there will be various terms that I define with auto insurance. So, the first term is insurance, okay? And the definition that I want you to record is it is the transfer of risk of financial loss. So make sure that the definition that you put in is the transfer of risk of financial loss. If you need to pause this video, write down that definition, and do that now. Second term is deductible, okay? A deductible is the amount the customer pays before the insurance coverage kicks in. Okay, so a deductible is the amount the customer pays before the insurance coverage kicks in. Okay, so that is the second term that you'll need the definition for. The third term is premium. Okay, premium is the amount the customer pays for insurance coverage. So you pay a monthly premium. Okay, or you may pay an annual premium, or you may pay a semi-annual. Okay, but the premium is the amount the customer pays for insurance coverage. All right, so those are 3 definitions that you need. All right, now we're going to talk about specifically auto insurance today, and I want you to understand how that works. Now, I've got Progressive's website up here. I'm going to go back to the computer. I'm going to be in front of the camera and not in front of the camera at various times, but I want you to understand a little bit more in detail how auto insurance works. Okay. Now, in the definition that I gave you of insurance, I want you to understand this, okay? It is the transfer of what risk, okay? And a lot of times I'll get students who will say, oh, it's the transfer of the risk that you might get in an automobile accident. No, what does the definition say? The definition says it's the transfer of risk of what? Of financial loss. So, you're not transferring the risk you'll get in an auto accident. You get in the car and you drive, you're risking an auto accident, all right? But if you get in that auto accident, there are financial obligations that you're going to have that then the insurance company will help you take care of some of those financial responsibilities. So, damage to the car, maybe damage to somebody else's car that you hit. Injuries that may have occurred in that auto accident, okay, and so that's it's the financial loss that you're transferring that risk to the insurance company, okay. Now we're at Progressive, okay. We're going to be using Progressive's website. It's a pretty user-friendly website, and we're just going to look at auto insurance today and look at some of the things that we're going to deal with there. I'm going to turn out the lights. I think that you can see the screen a little bit better when I turn out the lights. So you come over here when I go back up there. All right, so here we go. So auto insurance. Here we are. We're going here, we're going to put in our zip code. We'll just put in American Fork zip code, which is 84003, and we're going to get a quote. We're only going to do auto insurance. We're not going to do those others. I always put in here Fred Flintstone. Hopefully Progressive is not frustrated with me for putting in Fred Flintstone, but there it is. I put the year of birth, 1972. I always right here will put in the school's address, which is 510 North 600 East in American Fork, Utah. Okay, so we're going to start our quote, okay? Now it's going to ask us to add some vehicles, so I'm going to do that quickly. I'm going to put in like a 2015 Toyota Camry, and we're going to say it's a four-door, four-cylinder. Primary use is personal, and we're going to say that we own this vehicle, and we'll say that we've had it from 3 to 5 years, okay? All right, so we're going to add a second vehicle. We're going to say we've also got, no, we want to go back. We're going to add another vehicle, and let's do like a 2017. Let's do a Honda Accord. Let's say that it's a four-door, four-cylinder as well. Let's say for personal use, let's say that we own this vehicle as well. We'll say that we've had this one from 1 to 3 years. No, one, yeah, there we go. And now we've got 2 vehicles there, okay? So we've got the Toyota Camry and the Honda Accord, okay? Now, we're going to say that we are married. We're going to say I've got all kinds of education, so we'll put that. You don't need to put a social security number. It's asking me what my job is, so I'm going to put a teacher, K through 12. Primary residence, we own our home. We're going to say moved in the last 2 months. No. Wait. Oops. No, there we go. I have a valid driver's license. I've had it for 3 years or more. We're saying I've got no tickets and no accidents, okay? Now it's going to ask about a spouse, so let's put Wilma in here. Flintstone, and Wilma is, we're going to say 0101 of 1977, okay? We're going to say that, you know, completed some college. I'm going to say employed, type of job. I'm going to say a payroll clerk. Okay. Been licensed for 3 years or more. No accidents, no tickets in the last 3 years. All right, so we've got 2 drivers on there now. So 2 vehicles, 2 drivers. And just going to verify some information here. Alright, and now it's going to ask, yes, we're going to say 3 to 5 years. These are our liability limits. I'll explain that in a minute. No, no. We want this to start on 05/01 of 2020. This is a spam email address I use. We're saying we don't consume alcohol and we want their discount for that, and we're going to continue. Alright, this is Snapshot. We're not going to sign up for Snapshot. Alright. We just want auto for now, but you can bundle. I don't know, you guys have probably heard commercials about bundling, but bundling basically means you're going to put homeowners together with your auto insurance and stuff, okay? All right, Abby, this is where I'm going to want you to scroll up and down. Okay, so the premium, the quote that they just gave us based on the information we put in is 100. This is like marketing. Hey, you're going to pay 52. No, it's your monthly payments are right here. Your monthly payments are going to be $132 a month. Okay. Now, something that does happen with auto insurance, if you pay for all 6 months up front, you pay it in full, you will save a little bit of money. And so that's a good idea to do if you can do that, okay? If you've saved up money and you can do that, you should pay that in full, okay? But we'll focus on that $132 a month, okay? All right, now, this is something that'll be in the quiz, so make sure that you understand this. Liability limits here, okay? In this scenario, it's saying that the liability limits are 50, 100, 50. I want you to know what these different amounts are, what they mean, okay? The first 50 is per person, so that's the limit of what they would cover per person involved in that auto accident. The 100 is per accident, so they will cover up to $100,000 per accident. And the third 50 there is property damage, so they would cover up to $50,000 in property damage. So this is saying that this is how much they would cover in an auto accident for this policy. Now you'll notice that's the biggest chunk of what you're paying on your premium, okay? Now there's other factors that they look at. There's uninsured motorist protection, okay? If you get in an accident with somebody that doesn't have insurance, your policy will still protect you. Now, you'll notice that's not very expensive because the likelihood of you getting in an accident with somebody that doesn't have insurance is not very likely, but it could happen. Okay, is it against the law to drive without insurance on your vehicle? Yes, but people still break the law. Okay, underinsured motorists is if you get in a car accident with somebody that doesn't have enough insurance to protect your car. And you'll notice that is $72 for that part of the coverage. Personal injury protection is like if somebody gets injured in the accident, they cover up to $3,000 per person involved. There's no deductible on that, okay? All right, scroll down, Sadie. All right, so now,
It's not on that screen.
scroll down.
No, look, your computer isn't on that screen.
Oh, I know, yes, I know, you have to look up here, your cursor.
Where is it? I'm bad at my job.
Move over. Move over.
Move my
There it is,
cursor.
it just popped up, just keep moving it over. Move the cursor over to the right, there. Now
Oh,
just
there it
two
is.
fingers and scroll down. There you go. Okay, so now we're looking at each vehicle now, okay? And so on the Camry, comprehensive coverage, you've probably seen the commercials where like a tree falls down on a car. Okay, if a tree falls down on a car, that's comprehensive coverage. It's going to cover it, okay? We have a $500 deductible. Now, we talked about what a deductible is on the policy. Here's another quiz question that I want you to understand. Actually, I should have mentioned this in the other one too. But one of the quiz questions says, okay, if you go with a higher deductible, okay, if you increase your deductible, does your premiums go up or down? Okay? If you go with a higher deductible, your premiums will come down because you're saying, hey, I'm willing to pay more money towards this claim if I get in a car accident. So if you go with a higher deductible, your premiums come down, okay? So if we have a choice between a $1,000 deductible and a $250 deductible, which one's going to be a higher premium? The $250 deductible is going to be a higher premium, okay, than the $1,000, okay? Now, on the other one, scroll back up for me, Sadie. On this one, this is coverage amounts. So if we were to change this one from 50, 150 to 100, 200, 100, our premium would go up because we're saying we want you, the insurance company, to cover more if we get in an accident, okay? So you would have higher or more coverage in that scenario, so you would pay more for that, okay? Scroll it back down. Okay, let's go back down to the Camry, and so we've got comprehensive coverage and we've got a $500 deductible. Okay, when comprehensive coverage is when you, something happens to your vehicle that doesn't involve a collision with another car. Okay, collision is when you collide with another car, and we have a $500 deductible on that. Right now, this quote is not giving us uninsured motorists on this. That's because we had it on the policy. On rental, that's if you get in an accident and you want to have a rental car, then you can choose to have coverage while your car is in the shop getting repaired. Roadside assistance if your car breaks down, and then Snapshot is a tool that you can plug into your car that monitors if you're a good driver or not. Okay. The Honda Accord, we have similar coverage, okay? All right, now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a teenager to this policy, okay? And when I add a teenager to the policy, I want you to see what happens to the premiums, okay? We're at $132 a month right now, okay? And we're gonna add a teenager to it. So we're going to add another driver to the quote, and we're going to say Bam Bam is the driver, and we're going to say Bam Bam Flintstone. We're going to say Bam Bam was born in 0101 of, see, 2002, okay? So we're going to put them on the policy. This person is single. This is a child. Driving history, we're going to say that they've had a license between at least 1 year, but not less than 2 years. So, okay, we're going to say that Bam Bam has no tickets and no accidents for now. Now, we're going to say, yes, a full-time student. This is where good grades come into play. You get a good driver discount. Okay, and this student is living at home, attending school in state. Okay, all right, so now they're just verifying some other information here. We are saying, no, we don't consume alcohol in our home, and yes, we want the drinker discount, non-drinker discount. We're not signing up for Snapshot. Now look, here's what I don't like. I've done this a couple times now, so I know it does this, but notice it changed our deductible amounts right here to $1,000. So I want to change those back to $500 so that we're comparing apples to apples here. Okay? We're comparing a similar policy. So let's edit this and put this deductible back to $500. Okay? And let's go down and change this deductible on this vehicle to 500. And let's change this one here to 500. All right, now we've got our deductibles the same as what they were on the other policy. So $5,150 was our coverage amounts there. And then we've had $500 deductibles on the vehicles for comprehensive and collision. Look at what happened to our premium. Okay. We went from what, 132 to 221, adding a teenager to our policy. So why is that? Why does it cost more to add a teenager to my policy? And the answer is because of risk. Okay, the statistics show that teenagers have more accidents, and their accidents are more severe, higher claims per accident, and so that's why it's expensive to insure teenage drivers. Okay. Another question on your quiz that you need to make sure that you know, okay? It's not because they're discriminating against teenagers, all right? It's because the statistics bear out that you have more accidents, okay? Now, I want to do this. Let's add a ticket to Bam Bam. We're going to say that Bam Bam gets a speeding ticket, and let's look at what happens to Bam Bam's policy. And this is why, like, when you get a ticket, it's not just the cost of the ticket that should be a concern. Your insurance is going to go up. So let's go back to the drivers and let's edit Bam Bam and text Zeke and tell him to have T come open the door for him. Let's see, we're down here and we're going to say yes, there was a ticket. Okay. And we're going to say it was a speeding ticket. And we're going to say it was within the last 3 years, okay? And then we're going to continue. And so we went from $220 a month now for adding Bam Bam onto the policy to went to $279 a month, okay? So, I mean, that ticket alone, $220 up to $279. So that was about a $60 a month increase in premiums, okay? So, you know, when you hear your parents complaining about, you know, good grades so that you can get that good grade discount, how much it costs to add teenagers onto your policy, you know, when you get a ticket, how much that's gonna cost in terms of premiums, so it's expensive, so you need to be careful out on the roads, but goal of today is just to give you a little bit of an idea of how auto insurance works and kind of how the coverage amounts work on a policy, okay? So, there is your auto insurance lecture. I think we've covered everything that's in the quiz, so if you have any questions about it, let me know. Meantime, be rich.